As you know, we have a number of sponsors who've helped make today possible. And not only are we putting their names up on signs so you can admire their logos, we've asked our headline sponsors each to take 5 minutes and present a quick lightning talk on what they are doing in OpenStack that makes their contribution interesting and unique. So with that, I want to introduce our first headline sponsor, lightning talk, Ken Ross of Brocade.
Sorry, clicker.
Clicker is right there.
Thanks, David. So what I'd like to do is take a couple of minutes just to give you a perception, an overview of what we're seeing with OpenStack on the networking side and some of our contributions, and then go into some of the challenges that we're seeing as well. So we've been involved with OpenStack for about 3 years now. We've seen an increasing adoption of OpenStack, particularly initially through some of our partners, and you just heard one of them up here, HP, talking about some of the investments that they've been making. So from a Brocade perspective, we've seen growing interest on the customer side as well, starting to bake OpenStack into some of their architectures on the cloud management side. And so we've gradually increased the level of investment that we've been doing and been looking at getting actual contributions into the community as opposed to just doing plugins for our products. So some of the examples here was on the SAN fiber channel side with Cinder, and the majority of the others are all focused around the Neutron project. And there's a mix here of both data center networking, the data center to data center layer 2 extensions is something that we've been working on most recently. We have a proof of concept available for that just now. And then on the NFV side, a number of different areas that we're working on, many of them tied into Etsy and the proof of concepts there. Also the Tacker project and discussing there, how can we get the correct level of VM provisioning in place to put the network function onto and do that in a very efficient manner. So a number of different areas there. The last couple there are really areas that we're going to start contributing into and getting involved in, tied in with firewall as a service, VPN as a service. Again, that being more focused on our virtual router capability and how can you leverage that. As we've gone through this, I would say today we have just a handful of customers leveraging OpenStack and touching the network. So not very many, but some leaders in the space. So what's actually coming? When we were at Atlanta, we got one of our field guys to poll some of the sales account teams across the Northeast. And within about a day, we had a list of 50 customers that were at least doing a proof of concept on OpenStack. Now of that, probably only a dozen of them were actually in production. And in the stage that they were at, the majority were not yet using OpenStack to talk to the network. But we can see that there's some momentum coming. And we're seeing this also on the partnering side. When we look at the NFV engagements that we have, we see probably 80% of those discussions involving OpenStack to some degree or another. So we're really expecting 2015-16 to be a kind of sea change in terms of the level that customers get to in terms of orchestrating their network. So a couple of challenges that we might see here. One of them, I think, is around the Neutron maturity. Getting that solid has been a real effort over the last 12 months, which is great. Building on top of that, we've got a number of different pieces of functionality and customer engagements where we're being asked to look at enhancements all the way from Havana through to what are we doing in Juno and starting to plan Kiel. So there's a big spectrum of customer deployments being planned across those releases. How can we more agilely get enhancements and improvements into those releases and out into the customer hands? So I think it'll be interesting to listen to what some of Adrian is going to cover later today. The other one that I'll just mention very briefly, I think, is on the Open Daylight side. So there's investment within Brocade into Open Daylight and OpenStack. We've really started to internalize the advantages of open source. As we do that investment, there is a number of initiatives and committers heavily involved in both Neutron and Open Daylight, coordinating the integration, and that is making progress. I think it would be good for the community, and in fact both communities, to get a better understanding of how the two fit together and how are they going to fit together in the future. And that will help not just ourselves figure out the right level of investment in each, but also the customers and the adoption cycle. Our customers are being hit with some pretty fundamental changes in networking just now. And the more that we can do as a community to to give a vision of how this is all going to work together, the better. So with that, we kind of want the best of both worlds. We want to leverage the community, get a lot of that innovation, get the hardened core of OpenStack in place, but then be able to deliver agilely on top of that going forwards. So that's all I've got to say just now. We do have a number of Brocadians at the event today. If you'd like to dig into any of these contributions or help us get critical mass, come and speak to us, and look forward to having a great day for the rest of today. Thanks.